Hello everyone, welcome to the Concern Podcast, where we unpack political, social, economic and cultural stories shaping our world. I am Emmanuel Taban. Now reports are coming that finally 15 suspects have been arrested, and these are people who are believed to have been behind the incident that happened in Terekeka County of Central Equatoria State. Now early or in the middle of this week on Wednesday, an inter-communal fight emerged in Terekeka County of Central Equatoria State, which left over 27 people dead, over 20 injured, and hundreds displaced in Terekeka County. And the incident, the reason why the inter-communal fight happened was because claims of scarcity of resources and things to do with the land and these common issues that have been happening in other parts of the country. Now, in this video, I want us to exactly bring out what happened in Terekeka County and finally how these people were arrested who are believed to have been behind the incident that happened in Terekeka County. But before we continue, if this is your first time watching a video on this channel, please subscribe, hit on the notification button, like, comment, and if the video interests you, share with your colleagues in your circle. It's a way of making this channel grow, and when it grows, it motivates us to make more videos back to back. Thank you so much for those who've been supporting us. We are much grateful. Continue doing so. Now, for those of you who might be behind news, in the middle of this week, there was an incident that happened in Terekeka County of Central Equatoria State where there was an inter-communal fight between the clans of the Yari and the Kogi clan. And there are beliefs that the conflict emerged due to scarcity or scrambling of resources, but also things to do with cattle raids and all kind of stuff. And due to that incident, the incident left over 27 people dead from both sides, and over 20, I think around 23 injured, and hundreds of people from both sides of the communities displaced because of the conflict, and the villages were destroyed to ashes, according to reports that comes from the government of Central Equatoria State. Now, because of that incident, the governor of Central Equatoria State, His Excellency Emmanuel Taban, dispatched a high-level security team that was led by the Deputy Governor of Central Equatoria State, Honorable Paulino Lukudo Obede. And on reaching ground, the high-level security team discovered that there was lots of damages that was caused because of that inter-communal fights. The villages were destroyed to ashes, and there are lots of dead bodies lying on the ground from both parties, and also hundreds of people displaced from both sides of the communities. And also the same governor of Central Equatoria State, Emmanuel Taban, dispatched a second group, I think led by an advisor on security, peace and security, to the same village or to the same community who is supposed to go and implement some of the directives that was actually said by the President of the Republic of South Sudan. A very interesting thing about these inter-communal fights that are happening in South Sudan, Terekeka County is one of the many counties or many communities in South Sudan that have been experiencing such kind of inter-communal fights. I know very well that one of the reasons why our country is unstable, it's not just simply because of these political fights that we are seeing between the SPLA-IO and the SPLA-IG, or the SSPDF and the SPLA-IO. Some of the conflicts that are emerging in the country, some of the insecurities that are caused in the country are not entirely by these big forces, political forces, but by our own community members. When we look at issues happening in the northern parts of the country, some inter-communal fights, and the ones happening in Terekeka County in Central Equatoria States, these are entirely issues to do with the individual communities. I mean, it's not about these political fights and heavyweights. This is simply the problem of these communities. Now, a big question one might want to ask is, why are these communities fighting themselves? Why are these communities fighting? Over what are they fighting? When we look at this issue of the continuous fights between communities, it emerges mainly because of a scarcity of resources. Maybe it could be land, or and this land is mainly for grazing, or even water, and also the most important one, it's crumbling, or I mean the raids on cattle, where one community attacks, the other one wants to go and raid the cattle, and the other one puts back a fight. So at the end, ultimately, you see that so many people are killed and hundreds of others injured, and many people displaced. So this is becoming a second major cause of instability in the country. But what should the government of the Republic of South Sudan do when such issues are happening? You know, the government is struggling with the opposition right now, trying to fight back the opposition, trying to counter the threats being posed by the opposition. But still, there's one more cause of instability in the country, and this is to do with these inter-communal fights. And in one of my videos, I said that for us to have a peaceful country that is zero to kind of wars and all this, we have to do a thorough disarmament, you know, and that firearms doesn't need to, or do not have to be possessed or owned by individuals or civilians. It doesn't matter if you're a cattle keeper, you shouldn't be owning a gun. But this is a very hard situation right now. I think it is impossible for the government to do a disarmament of all these cattle keepers. It's very hard right now because majority of these communities, I would say that they have even overpowered the military. Majority of them have firearms. You have no idea where they are acquired from, and therefore I feel that if the government do any disarmament move, they will put back a counter fight against the government forces, and it's going to be very hard. But also, if the government is to look at this strategically, what could be the best solution to end up this? I know this armament is going to be very hard, but what could be the best alternative solution that the government would provide in order to stop all these inter-communal fights? One of the ways that I've suggested is that, you know, sometimes the reason why this community fight, it's because they want to be protecting their cattle, they want to protect their property, and they feel that the government is not providing enough security to their property. Therefore, if the government provides enough security for the property of this community, I think majority of them will not have any reason as to why they should own these guns. We have a culture of raids, I know, which is so much deep in our culture. We do have majority of our communities are cattle keepers, and therefore they want these. They are used to this culture of owning or possessing these firearms in order to protect their property. But if the government provides a very good security to these people, I don't think any of them will have a reason to actually own these arms as well. But this is a very tough situation right now that is putting the government in a very hard situation. Before we close today's episode, here's a quick message from our sponsor, Wanit.co. If you've been planning to build a website, but the cost has been holding you back, Wanit.co makes it affordable and stress-free this time around. Whether you are an individual, a non-profit organization, or a business, Wanit.co designs professional websites starting from as cheap as $250. Individuals can actually launch with a starter website of up to 7 pages and a free email, or choose an advanced option with unlimited pages, a professional portfolio, and branding support. For non-profit organizations, they can select flexible packages from basic websites to premium solutions with e-commerce features and ongoing support. And for business companies, Wanit.co delivers company-ready website with hosting, staff training, and multilingual options, and online stores. And the best part of it is actually that you can build your dream website within your budget. Wanit.co is an affordable, accessible, and professional partner. And to get started, you can actually visit Wanit.co or email them at info@wanit.co, or you can get in touch with them through their WhatsApp number at +1 226 504 3322. Wanit.co, proudly affiliated with Jobs to Apply. And if you're wondering of what I'm talking about, here are some samples of website created by Wanit.co. You can see them right here.